Well, how's it going, everybody? Today is May 30th. I haven't made a video in a while, probably about 4 weeks. I think the last video I did was drilling the sorghum. So, just been too tired and not motivated and whatever to do a video. So, I decided here that we'd get back after it. Here's the sorghum. This is what it looks like now. It has been about 30 days since we planted. Yeah, I said about 4 weeks. So, I'd say 75% of it looks like this. 20% of it looks maybe a foot shorter in some places. And then about 5% of it is maybe knee-high right now, a little over knee-high. The places that are about knee-high are just in some ground that's not as fertile, and maybe some places that were really wet. We've had a lot of water last week. Yeah, I think it was a week ago. Actually, this right here was laying over. It was so wet that it just kind of laid over. We were afraid it wasn't going to stand back up, but it all stood back up. So we actually had a couple acres that just completely drowned. Ended up with 125 acres, had 120 done, and then decided to go get the last little 5-acre field that was in a really wet area. It was dry enough to get it done, and then it rained a whole bunch and it never came up. So either it got planted too deep or it drowned. Either way. You can see that over there across the road is just about as tall as the fence there. So talked to the guy at actually looked up on the website, got a phone number for the people that sell this Gotcha Plus. Called that guy and asked him when would be a good time to harvest it after planting, and he said 45 days, which sounds really, really fast. Kind of didn't believe him at first, and then so we're at 30 days right now, and it's about chest high. So another 2 weeks, and especially getting in the 90s next week. Right now we've been in the upper 80s, and then we got like 2 more days of upper 80s, and then we start going in the 90s. And about a week from now it'll be about 95 degrees with a lot of humidity. So this stuff's really going to start growing more than it has been. There goes my phone. Alright, so what we've done, just a couple days ago, we moved all the semi-trailers that were parked here, moved them on the other side of that pile, and we'll talk about that pile in a minute. All we got left to do is move the tank, and we're going to go ahead and pull this fence up too. We had some old feed troughs. There were still 2 good ones, and there was 5 that were rusted all the way through or rotted through. Got them moved. Moved all the buckets and attachments that were lined up against the fence here. We're not going to worry about the old green chop wagon or the green chopper or the old cow trailer or anything like that. We're just going to leave that there, because by that tree there's a drainage ditch that runs out into this field, so we stay on this side of that. But right here is where we're going to pile the sorghum. So that's the plan. Don't want to put it on that side of this pile, because if we are able to pour concrete to make a slab, that's where we're going to do it, on that side. And don't want to have the pile there in the way in case that does get to happen. So real quick, this pile we did probably 2.5 weeks ago. It's a little over 1,300 tons. It was 300 acres. It's got the triticale in it. The triticale did really good on tonnage. It was about 8 tons an acre. The protein was lower than what we wanted. A lot of the volunteer rye had already started to die or turn brown. By the time the chopper got here, he was battling mud somewhere else. And even though we were a little drier, he needed to finish up there before he came here. We may have to readdress that next year, because the plan is right now we're gonna plant everything in triticale, so hopefully have about 300 acres of triticale, and don't want to have it head out and all that stuff. So need to hit it a little sooner than we did this year for sure. But this year was a little messed up with all the rain and stuff. Hang on, I gotta go pick up a kid. Alright, so Case is here ready to work. So that's the sorghum. We did get 400 pounds an acre of 1717 put on it. Do you remember when we did that? See, it rained all last week, so it was right before it rained. I think it was last Thursday. Today's Saturday, so 9 days ago, 8 days ago, whatever. We did get all that fertilizer put out on it, and it rained like that night. So We got a load of semi load of semi sidewalls. We got that on Tuesday. We haven't put any on this pile yet because there might be enough to do the sorghum pile and then maybe one more. And if it, as wet as it is right now, and if we get this sorghum cut off in 2 weeks, knock on wood, there could be another pile of it. So we'll have to see how that goes. I think it was a little about 4 to 6 weeks ago we got this tire shooter. That thing is freaking awesome. You know, covering this pile, it was actually me, Wes, and Jeremy, another guy, and 2 kids that covered that. So, you know, carrying the tires up there really saved us, which it says tire shooter labor saver. And yeah, we'll have to get a video of that when we cover this pile of sorghum in a couple weeks. But so there's that thing. Let's see. All the calf hutches are gone. We plowed this up, we rolled it, we smoothed it, and then people keep driving on it and getting stuck on it. But this is where the calf hutches were, so all that's back to normal. And then all the calf hutches are washed and stacked and put up. I gotta go turn the soakers off. Then here's something else. The 6410 that we kept, you know, we traded the 6410, one of the 6410s and the 7800 off for the Puma 185. Well, after starting to use that other 6410 every single day, other than just slicing bells, quickly realized that that tractor was really wore out and didn't have much life in it left. And Wes lowballed all the numbers on what it was going to take to fix all its problems, and decided that's way too much money to put into it. And so made some phone calls, ended up trading it in. We think we got a good deal. So here we got a Maxim 125. It's a 2019. It had 200 hours on it. You know, had the loader on. The loader was brand new. Whoever had it or used it before didn't have the loader on it. So the loader was brand new. Came with a bucket. Had rear wheel weights on it. Cap suspension. It's got the semi power shift. It's got 4 remotes. This tractor weighs, with the water in the tires and the wheel weights, probably weighs a little over 12,000 pounds. That 6410 was probably around 9,000 pounds. This tractor is a 4-cylinder, 125 horse. That 6410 was like 85 horse. So a lot more tractor than what we had before, using with a loader, which this is more of what we needed the last few years for the things that we're doing with the silage bales and just all the workload that we have for it. Them 6410s, when we got those 20 years ago, we thought they were big tractors, you know, big 4-wheel drive tractor. We built hay with them for a few years, and then realized that they couldn't really keep up with that. So we put loaders on them, and they became just loader tractors, and now they're all gone. So this probably wasn't the good time to do it because of the coronavirus, but kind of needed to be done, so we went ahead and did it. But I think you love the tractor?
Oh yeah, way better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a really nice tractor. So, did you already move the shade? Yeah, he already moved the shade. I see it. So we're about to go put on a shade cloth. We ordered 10 shade cloths, and we're building 6 new shades, and we had 3 or 4 that the cloths need to be replaced. So that's what we're going to be trying to do today, before it gets too hot. Alright, so that's the Maxim 125 that we got. If we didn't get the Puma 185 a couple months ago, we wouldn't probably have that sorghum. The 7800 wouldn't have been able to do it a whole lot, and we probably wouldn't have wanted to be driving it. So you can thank the Puma 185 for the sorghum. Didn't set these headlights. And then also with the Puma, it's got the Hay King Ripper on it. It's got 10 shanks. After we got that first cut off, Wes went and ripped probably 200 acres or so He didn't get all the hay fields, but he did get most of them. And I can't see. Right now I'm just changing the time for the soakers to the next milking because this side's done for the morning. So the soaker system, they just kicked on that side. They run off temperature and time, so I can set the time that I want it to run, and it'll run accordingly to temperature. Lower the temperature, the longer distance between each cycle it does. As temperature goes higher, it'll run sooner, and that'll just put a little bit of water on the cows' backs and keep them cool. So real quick, here's the Hay King. It's 10 shanks, and it's got these disc blades on the front. Disc blades make a little slit for the shank to run through, and you're just aerating the soil with it. Well, you can see the tip of that shank's already gone, and this one's about gone. So we need to get new shanks for it, wore them off. That's all it is. 3-point, put it in the ground, open it up about 8-10 inches. Just makes little lines in the ground. So, yep. You ready to go work? Yeah. Don't fall off between the seat and the steering wheel. Hey. 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 Can you smile? Can you smile real pretty?
So do I just give you water this time, I guess?
If
Yeah,
there's
just put
nothing
water.
else, yeah.
Are you like 2 weeks? What? Yeah. Are you like 2 weeks from being 1? Huh?
Oh.
June 10th. Hi. Alright, so we already got this shade cloth halfway up. We tied the corners off, and then we looped that in, and then we looped this in here, and then we're about to go down the sides, and you just thread the rope through. And then we're just using the skid steer and this little basket deal to go down the side of it. I got a little man lift. Just lower the whole thing down. Tilt the forks up. Up, 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 up. Okay, go forward. Go. Go down some. Go. There you go. Alright, so we just keep weaving the rope through all the way down to the other side. And then we'll go to the other side and do the same thing, and then pull them tight. Which one at 22? Yeah, and then we'll get that other one out and we'll put it out in the middle where we can get around it good, and we'll put that one at 27. You know, put them where you can drag them forward next time and have a clean spot every time. You can put one on this side and one on that side, that'll work. So this shade's done, and he's about to drag it out. What it is, it's on 2 7/8 runners, 2 3/8 pipe frame, and then just a cloth, which that cloth is 95%, so pretty close to being blacked out. It's got, what do you call them, perforated holes to let water and things go through. And then just a polypropylene rope. The big thing is if you get the wrong rope, then the rope falls apart, and then when the shade starts to flap or whatever, it'll rip the shade. So, yeah. So that shade's going to group 1 out in 22. This is the hard part sometimes, dragging them over the fences without breaking the fence. So, with it being a new shade, it's catching air off the lane, so it's not even touching. But right there where there's a joint, sometimes we'll catch. And then once the shade gets wore out, sometimes they get jagged on the bottom and they'll catch. Let's go. So that shade there's the newest one out of the 6 that we're gonna build. And then that shade over there, me and Wes built those when I was in high school, I think my sophomore year in high school. And there's some other shades that are, well, I think that one over there is probably 20, 25 years old. So we're actually got one across the road right now that we're tearing apart because it was too rotted to save. There was one last year, the year before, that we cut the runners off and put new runners on because it was so wore out. You know, the bottom of the runners were just ate off. It was just like a half a pipe. And then this other one, it was already rotted up on top and stuff. So. Go ahead and get it and drag it out to 27. We don't deal with cow crap. So the cows got a shade over there. Got this cooling pond here for them to get into. We just dug this out 2 years ago, and it's probably 18 foot deep in the middle. And it's got a real nice rim all the way around for the cows to stand and be about waist deep. So the idea would be any manure or anything like that goes out in the middle in that hole, and they can stand around the edge of it, of the whole thing. And then there's more sorghum for you there. And there's more out there too. So anyway, we're gonna go get another shade. We're gonna drag it off in that field. That field's got a cooling pond too. And then we're gonna put the shade on it, or the cloth.
Just go, man. The more faster you go, the less I have to strain. You're saying whoa or go? Go. The faster you go, the less I have to strain. Trying to hit you. Just keep going. God. What the road going in this fucking direction, not tight. That shade's done. We're on to the next one.
All right, well, the sun's going down. It's a little after 8. I think it's close to 8:30 now. But we got one done down there, one done right over there. And then so tomorrow morning, we're going to move one of them in for these heifers here. And then move the other 2 down for the bigger heifers. I think there's about 75 in here and 94 in that other group. So, and those are a little bigger, so they get a little more room than these. But at least for now, everything will have a little more shade. And then we got 5 more to build, so we'll get those built as soon as we can. Tomorrow, we'll probably end up hauling a lot of manure with the Artex and maybe even hook up the vacuum and suck some out of the pit behind the feed lane. But we'll just put that on a different video. And so, milk cows are all good now with shade. The one group's got 2, and the other one's got 1. And these other cows got some trees. Don't really like the trees. Cows kill the trees, and then also we can't move the trees. So when they make a mud hole underneath the tree, we're kind of stuck with it. With these artificial shades, we can drag them and keep them on clean ground. You know, usually in the middle of summer, I have to move them every 2 or 3 days. But with all that being said, we're gonna end it now. And I want to thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. And yeah, thanks for watching.